So yesterday we discussed about the difference between physical data center and cloud data center. What is the difference? Physical data center is physically available. You can go there, you can see all the servers infrastructure. Cloud data center, you don't know where the cloud data center is. Even you cannot find in the Google map. Anywhere on internet. So in cloud data center, all infrastructure you're able to access from internet, through internet. And a lot of physical data center, CapEx, capital expenditure, OpEx, operational expenditure. Operational expenditure. So there are a lot of challenges in the physical data center. So to understand what is AWS, AWS is mainly all the servers are running on virtualization. So virtualization is very important before you go for AWS cloud. So what is this virtualization? Ten years back, before 2010, there was no virtualization concept. When you want to practice Windows and Linux, I have to purchase one desktop or one laptop for Windows, one desktop or laptop for Linux. In a single hard disk, already we have Windows. If you install Linux, what will happen? It will override the Windows operating system. Already have Linux. If you install Windows, override the Linux. In a single disk, you cannot install more than one operating system. If you want to practice Windows and Linux both, purchase two laptops or two desktops. One for Windows, one for Linux. Assume that each laptop costs 50,000. Invest 1 lakh rupees for practicing Windows and Linux. Instead of that, purchase only one laptop or desktop. You have 500 GB hard disk. This 500 GB, make it two physical partitions. Maximum we can get 4 physical partitions. Any hard disk, irrespective of the size, we can make maximum 4 physical partitions. So here I created 2 physical partitions. In the first physical partition, I install Windows. In the second physical partition, I install Linux. Rather than purchasing 2 laptops or desktop, purchase only one laptop, make it 2 physical partition. In the first physical partition, I install the Windows. Second physical partition, I install the Linux. While booting, the Linux bootloader provides interface asking that do you want to boot from Red Hat Linux or do you want to boot from Windows? While booting, provides interface from which operating system you want to boot or from which kernel you want to boot. By default, it waits for 5 seconds at Red Hat Linux. 5 seconds on Red Hat Linux. If no input is provided, boot from the Linux. Now you want to boot from Windows, select Windows, press enter, boot from Windows. That is the advantage of making more than one physical partition in a single disk. I can install multiple operating systems. As of now, I create 2 physical partitions, but maximum I can create 4 physical partitions. So that we'll discuss later. We have a separate topic on that. So that is the advantage of creating more than one, so that one for Windows, one for Linux. It is also called virtualization. It is also called virtualization. Meaning what? physically only one laptop, but acting as a Windows and acting as a Linux. Then what type of virtualization it is called? Traditional virtualization. So rather than purchase two laptops, in one laptop, you can install both. What is the problem with the traditional virtualization? Simultaneously, we can't able to run both operating systems. When I'm in Windows, I can't able to access Linux. If I am Linux, I can't see Windows. So only one operating system we can boot at a time. Another problem. You purchase a laptop with 16 GB RAM. When I'm booting from Windows, I'm using only 1 GB RAM. Remaining 15 GB is wasted. Reboot it, boot from Linux, again we are using maximum 1 GB RAM. So wastage of hardware resources. That's why a company called VMware they developed two softwares. One is called VMware Workstation. The other one we call VMware Server. This VMware Server we call ESXi. Workstation is nothing but a client. Like in Microsoft, we have client OS and server OS. Which are client OS? Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, all these are client OS. Server OS are Windows 2012, Windows 2016, Windows 2019. These are server operating systems. Similarly, we have developed two softwares. One is called client, the other one we call server. So what is the advantage of this virtualization? Take a laptop. So this is the hardware, laptop hardware. On top of the hardware, install the operating system. On top of the operating system, install VMware Workstation software. So this is my hardware. On top of the hardware, I install operating system Windows. On top of the operating system Windows, we install the software VMware Workstation. Now, generally, to install any operating system, what are the hardware components you require? What are the hardware components you require? I need a processor or RAM, CPU, motherboard, keyboard, mouse, monitor, network card, SMPH. They are the main hardware components, DVD, where this hardware is physically in your laptop. This hardware is physically in your laptop. With the help of this VMware workstation, what I'll do is I'm going to create a virtual hardware. Whatever hardware physically available in your laptop, with that hardware, I'm going to create a virtual hardware. Means what? Virtual RAM, virtual CPU, virtual motherboard, keyboard, virtual keyboard, mouse, monitor, everything is a virtual. What is VMware workstation? Whatever software, whatever hardware physically available, with that we are going to create a virtual hardware. So create a VM. This is called VM. Why it is called VM? All the hardware is virtual. Give me 2 minutes. Right. So what are the hardware is physically available? With that hardware, by using VMware workstation, create a virtual hardware. That's why it is called as a virtual machine. So the VM is ready. In this VM, you can install Windows operating system. You want to install Linux, create another VM with the same virtual another VM and install Linux. Like that, in a single laptop, we can install multiple operating systems by creating multiple VMs. Suppose you have 16 GB RAM. By default, base operating system requires 2 GB RAM. So we have 14 GB free. This 14 GB, 2 GB we can allocate for every VM. So one advantage is no wastage of hardware resources. Another advantage is at a time we can run multiple operating systems. Without rebooting, simultaneously we can work more than one operating system. So there is no wastage of hardware resources. So all these are virtual machines. See, we allocated 2 GB, 4 GB for every VM, or 2 GB, 1 GB on every VM. So simultaneously we can work more than one operating system. All these are called virtual hardware. All these are virtual hardware. So rather than purchasing new brand server or a laptop, create a virtual machine, you can install the operating system. The advantage of this VM is whatever resources we allocated 4 GB or processor, these resources will be used only when the VM is up and running. If I shut down the VM, this RAM is free, the CPU is free. This RAM and CPU we can use it for another virtual machine. So whatever resource we allocated for the VM, that will be used only when the VM is up and running. If you shut down it, those resources are free that can be used for another VM. Assume that one application running here, due to lack of memory, my application is not performing well. But in my laptop, I don't have memory free space, no memory free. But another VM, even though allocated 4 GB, but this application not using 4 GB RAM. So from here, I can take 2 GB, I can add the 2 GB to this other virtual machine. So there is no wastage of your hardware resources. And all the VMs are isolated. That means here I set up this server as a Tomcat server. Tomcat is application server. I set up this server as a Jenkins server. These are all DevOps CI/CD tools. All these VMs are isolated. Unless until without logging to this particular VM, we don't know what application running on this. Assume that every VM is nothing but a physical server. In the real time, you people are logged into the Linux servers or Windows server. As a Windows administrator, Linux administrator, we are logged into the Windows or Linux server. What you feel that those are physical servers. Those are physical servers, but no more in the real time physical servers. All are virtual servers. How to log into this virtual servers? VM will see later. This is about VMware workstation. But real time, here all the application production database servers are runs on VMware server operating system, not the workstation. So what is the difference? You take a server, higher-end server, 32 CPUs, 128 GB RAM, any higher-end server. On top of this, install the VMware server OS. So this is my hardware. On top of that, I install VMware server operating system. What do you call that? ESXi. Means what? It has its own kernel. Kernel means what? Operating system. Kernel, operating system, both are same. On top of this, create a virtual machine. So you can create n number of VMs on one physical server. That is the difference between VMware workstation and VMware server. What is the difference? Can anyone? What difference you found here? In VMware Workstation, whatever VMs are created, these VMs cannot directly interact with the hardware. You want to interact with the hardware, I need a operating system or a kernel. Kernel, operating system, both are same. What is that here? Windows. So VM will interact with Windows, Windows will interact with the hardware. So what is VMware Workstation? It is nothing but a application. To install any application, what is required? I need operating system. Like Google Chrome is application. Any software we are downloading and installing in a laptop, those comes under application, which required operating system. So VMware Workstation is application. We are installing on top of the Windows. VMware Workstation cannot directly interact with the hardware because it's an application. Whereas here VMware has its own kernel. Kernel means operating system. VMware has its own kernel which runs directly on the hardware. So that's why it is called as a bare metal. What is the bare metal? It runs directly on the hardware. If you take this VMware virtual machine, when I click on this create new virtual machine, click on next, you can see maximum supports only 128 GB RAM. Supports maximum 128 GB RAM, 32 processor. It has a limitation, 8 TB hard disk, 10 network cards. It has a limitation, but the VMware server, no limitation. 1 TB RAM, 2 TB RAM, 4 TB RAM. No limitation for server operating system. And the difference is, as I told you that any one of this VM is not, application not performing because of lack of memory. I want to increase the memory or a processor. So right click here, go to settings, Here we have a memory. How much allocated? 2 GB. Now I want to add 4 GB more. It is not possible on running server. We cannot scale your hardware. Scale up or scale down. We can't scale your hardware on running virtual machine. You have to shut down it, then increase the hardware. But if I shut down my VM, downtime to my application, downtime to the end user. But whereas if it is server, VMware server on running VM, we can increase our hardware. We can scale up and scale down without shutting down VM. So there's no downtime for applications here. And lot of features are there. So in the real time, we people are always work on this VMware server operating system. All application database servers will run on the VMware server operating system, not the workstation. Workstation only for laptop or desktops, not for the servers. So what is the advantage of this VMware? In one physical machine, we can configure 250 virtual machines, irrespective of our hardware. In one physical machine, we can configure 250 virtual machines. Each VM will act as a one physical server. Tomorrow, you join as an application developer. So one of the application running here. When you join as application developer, what is your physical access? They'll give one laptop. And they provide the IP address of the server. Let us say my IP is 192.168.157.123. Any IP address. They're going to provide you IP address of the server and credentials, login name and password. So in your laptop, when they give the laptop, in that laptop, a third-party software party. It is a third-party software. It is already installed in your laptop. If not installed, you have to install it. So click on this putty tool. Let us say this is one of my application server. I'm a application support. So what I'll do is I'll take the IP address of the server. This is the IP address of the server and click on open. So I logged as a user with the password. What I feel that as an end user, what I feel that this is the physical server. But real time, no more physical servers. All are virtual servers. But as an end user, we don't know is it a physical or virtual. We have nothing to do with the physical or virtual. You're a Linux administrator. You're a Windows administrator. There is some issue on the server. So how to resolve that? Where the server is on internet. Internet means what? Anywhere in the world. If your client is in the US, to give the support for the server, are you going to US? Not required. I can give the support from Hyderabad. So what is physical access I required? Laptop with a third-party software party. With this, I'm able to connect to any server with IP address, username, and password. I'm nothing to do with is it a physical or virtual. So it was introduced 2009, 2010. All the companies they migrated their physical machine, physical servers to virtual machine. Why? 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 Because in one physical server, we can set up 250 virtual machines. Meaning, let us say, for example, I want to start a data center, a small data center. So I'm planning that to start the data center with 500 physical servers. For 500 physical servers, I need a backup of another 500 physical servers. Yesterday we discussed that every server we need a backup. Why do you need a backup? For fault tolerance. For fault tolerance, for load balancing, we need a backup. So load balancing, fault tolerance, very important, very important for data center, physical data center or a cloud data center. So for 500 servers, need a backup of 500 servers. So I require 1000 physical servers. To start the data center with 1000 physical servers, how much area I require? I have to take minimum 5000, 10,000 square feet. So 5 to 10,000 square feet and order this 1000 server, IBM, Wipro, Dell, all these are hardware vendors. If I order this server, 1000 servers, are they going to deliver within 1 day or 1 week? No. They'll take 1 month, more than 1 month. After that, in all these 1000 servers, I have to install the operating system, I have to install the applications, Java software, all this setup. So for that, I need system administrators, Windows and Linux, minimum 50 system administrators. I need storage admin. I need a storage admin. I need a network admin, 50 members, network administrator, database administrator, developers, programmers. So these many employees are required to set up this 1000 physical servers. It may take one year, minimum 1 year to set up this infrastructure, everything. It is a problem with the physical server. Whereas if I go for VMware, in place of 500 physical servers, in one physical server we can configure 250 virtual machines. So in place of 500 physical servers, how many physical servers are required? 2 physical servers. Each physical server set up to 50 VMs. So for 500 physical servers require only 2 physical servers. For another backup of another 500 physical servers, I require only 2 physical servers. Means with 4 physical servers, I can start my data center. Without VM, we require 1000 physical servers. If I go for VM, I need only 4 physical servers. How much area we require? I can take 2-bedroom plot. I can start my data center. So how much time to start this data center? It won't take more than a month. Within a month, max within a month, I can start my data center. How many employees are required? I need only one network admin, one system admin, Windows or Linux, one database admin, one storage admin. So we can reduce your manpower, we can reduce your hardware infrastructure, we can minimize the resources, and we can start this data center very fast, quickly. So VMware is a big revolution in the market when VMware introduced 2009, 2010. All the companies, they migrated their physical servers, application from physical server to virtual servers. So the whole AWS, all the servers are virtual. So no more physical. Even tomorrow you're working as Linux administrator or Windows administrator or a DevOps engineer or a developer. We people are always working on virtual server. Now, what is the advantage of cloud? You want to start your data center. With VMware. I need only 4 physical servers in place of 1000. I need only 4 physical servers. But I have to purchase these 4 physical servers. And I have to maintain the employees like network admin, storage admin, database admin, developer. All these guys you have to maintain. And we need a premises, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom premises. If I go for a cloud, I am a developer, I develop an application. Something like Ola app or Swiggy, Zomato, any food app. So I develop an application. So to deploy that application, I need a server. So if I can go to 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, I can purchase this 4 physical server, set up everything, install the operating system. It will take minimum 1 month to set up this. Instead of that, I'll take the server from the cloud, either AWS or Azure. What kind of compute capacity to deploy that application? What kind of compute capacity you require? What is the meaning of compute capacity? The memory, RAM, and processor. My lab compute capacity 16 GB RAM, 1 CPU. The compute capacity nothing but your memory and processor. So to deploy this application, to run this application, I need 8 GB RAM or 16 GB RAM, 4 CPUs. That compute capacity, what kind of compute capacity you required, what kind of hardware you required, you can take this from AWS Cloud. Rather than purchase this server, take this server from AWS Cloud. Here we have a instance purchase options. What's the meaning of instance? Instance nothing but a VM, virtual machine. Azure Cloud we call it as a virtual machine. GCP, Google Cloud we also call virtual machine. That virtual machine, AWS we call it as a instance. Now already we discussed what is VM. So instance nothing but a VM. To create this VM, I need a physical server. So physical server to virtual machine. That virtual machine we call it as an instance. So we have instance purchase option. So like spot instance, reserved instance, and dedicated instance. All these are instance purchase option. In the real time, we are going to use reserved instances. Reserved instances means that server, that VM is dedicated for the organization, dedicated for you. Whatever compute capacity you require, RAM and processor. You can take it. You want 1 TB RAM, 128 CPUs, you can take that from AWS cloud. No need to purchase. Reserved instances are long-term commitment. Long-term commitment, we have to take these reserved instances for minimum 1 month to, minimum 1 year, up to max 3 years. 1 year to max 3 years. That is called reserved instance. So that server is dedicated for you. This is on demand. On demand and dedicated. Throughout the course, we are going to discuss on-demand instance. The advantage of on-demand instance is whichever configuration you require, how much memory you want, how many processor you want, you can take this server from AWS. On-demand instances, there is no long-term commitment. Like reserved instances, on-demand instances doesn't have any long-term commitments. You can take this server from 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours or 1 day or 1 month. No long-term commitments. Suppose if I take this server for 1 month. Generally, if I go for this VMware, I don't have a cloud. If you want to purchase this hardware, higher-end servers, very, very expensive. Assume that each server costs 20 lakhs. So I have to invest 80 lakhs. Without revenue generation, this is called operational expenditure. Capital expenditure, CapEx. Without any revenue generation, you have to invest minimum 80 lakhs. There is no guarantee that my applications will click in the market or not. So before that only we have to invest minimum 80 lakhs to 1 crore rupees. Instead of purchasing the server, why should I purchase the server with 20 lakhs? I'll take the server for rental basis. I'll pay 20,000, 30,000 per month. Let us say I'll spend 30 to 40,000 per month. If I take the server for 30,000 per month, even the server is not running for 15 days or 10 days, but you have to pay the amount per whole month. You are taking the server's rental basis per month, right? So whether you are running or not, whether the servers are up and running or not, but you have to pay that for whole month. Whereas if I take this on-demand instance, even if I take for 1 month, but my server is run only for 5 hours, for whole month the server running only for 5 hours, we are paying only for 5 hours. We are not going to pay for whole month. This is the one of the good feature in AWS. What is that? Pay as you go model. They are going to charge hourly basis. If you start an instance, after 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you shut down the instance. But they're going to charge for 1 hour. Even the instance run for only 5 or 10 minutes, but they're going to charge for hourly basis. You have to pay for 1 hour. That is the advantage of on-demand instances. So there's no long-term commitment. Whatever resources you are consuming, you pay only for that. So if I'm a cloud admin, I want to deploy my application rather than purchase this service or take the rental basis for whole month. I can take the server from AWS cloud. Initially, I'll go for on-demand because I don't know that my application in the market will click or not. Initially, I'll go for on-demand. So after 6 months or 1 year, my business is running well, then I'll go for reserved instances. So in AWS, all this infrastructure is maintained by the third party vendor. You need not worry about how to set up load balancer. You need not worry about the downtime. So they are giving the downtime of 99.99% of the downtime. So there are two factors in AWS. One is called durability and downtime. So they are giving the downtime of 99.99%. You need not worry about what happened tomorrow my server is down. So in AWS, servers never goes down. So everything infrastructure maintained by the ever third party vendor. So that is the advantage of cloud. So what is the advantage of now? Don't take 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom also. I can start my business by sitting at my home. I just need internet connection, laptop with internet connection. I don't require separate storage admin, separate database admin, separate network admin, separate firewall team, because I'm a cloud admin. Cloud admin can do all this stuff. That's why cloud has lot of demand. So 10 years back, when I started my training institution, I invested nearly 20 lakhs. At that time, there was no virtualization, there was no cloud. So nearly 50 servers, 50 systems we maintain here, and 3,000 square feet area. I used to pay 1.5 lakh for that premises. But now I'm taking the classes from home. I don't require even office also. What I required, I need a laptop and internet connection. So why should I purchase this server for practice? Everyone having laptop, everyone having net connection. So we want to practice that. You can go to AWS Cloud, launch the instance, you can practice there itself. You need not purchase any resources. Network cards, switches, routers. Need not worry about how to configure IP address. You do not worry about how to configure storage. Need not worry about how to install the database. Everything is graphical mode, user friendly. So that is the advantage of cloud. That's why all the companies are moving to the cloud. Right. This is about virtualization. So this is the physical server. These are called virtual servers. The storages, network, switches, routers, everything is connected to your server. So these storages, we are able to access it from these virtual machines. Now, so the major services which we are going to discuss in AWS EC2. EC2 stands Elastic Compute Cloud. EC2 is nothing but a server. EC2 is nothing but a server, but not a physical, it's a virtual. We call it as an instance. Elastic Compute Cloud, EBS, Elastic Block Storage. This is called a storage. S3 bucket, S3 also storage. EFS, Elastic File System, one of the service. In Unix, we call NFS, Network File System. Windows, we call DFS, Distributed File System. Similarly, in AWS, we call EFS. RDS, Relational Database Service. Here we'll discuss about one database, SQL database, one NoSQL database. EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Service. Basically, EKS is one of the service or one of the tool in DevOps that we are going to discuss in AWS. ECR, Elastic Container Registry. ELB, Elastic Load Balancer. I told you load balancer. What is load balancer? What is the advantage of load balancer? IAM, Identity Access Management. This is called user account. In the real time, you want to access any resources, you need a authentication. You want to access your laptop, I need a username password. Your mobile, need a password. Your ATM, need a password. So IAM is very, very important service in AWS. So here are the major services. Who are the cloud service providers? AWS, GCP, Azure, Oracle, IBM, Salesforce Cloud, Rackspace, all these are cloud service providers. The major cloud service providers are AWS, GCP, and Azure. From this, AWS has lot of market. Types of cloud computing. Types of cloud computing: public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. What is difference between public, private, and hybrid, and multi-cloud? So what is difference between public, private, hybrid, and multi-cloud? Public cloud are owned and operated by the third party. Third party like AWS, the third party, Amazon, Google, all these are third party. They'll deliver their computing resources. Computing resources nothing but the servers, storages, switches, routers. All this infrastructure they're going to deliver to the customer. That is called public. So everything is maintained by the third party vendor. AWS, Azure, GCP, they are the examples for public cloud. In the public cloud, all hardware, software, other supporting infrastructure is owned and managed by the cloud vendor. Everything is owned by the third-party cloud vendor. Need not purchase anything. Everything, all the infrastructure, they are going to provide you. You can access these services, manage your account by using web browser API. API stands Application Program Interface. You want to access the resources of AWS, any infrastructure, we can access through browser, graphical mode, graphical user interface, or command line, CLI, command line interface. We'll see both how to access those resources with graphical mode and command line. Private cloud. Private cloud refers cloud computing resources used exclusively by a single business or organization. Every company, any MNC company you take, there's no company without private and public. Every MNC company, they have both private and public. So every user having two types of data, private information, public information. Private and public. So all the private information will be stored in the private cloud. You can't access this from internet. All the user public information will be stored in the public cloud. There is no company without private and public. So private cloud can be physically located on premises or on site data center. Yesterday we discussed what is data center, how it looks. So every company they have their own physical data center. This physical data center owned by company itself. The problem with the physical data center, everything is for every hardware you are the responsible. The application is down for 1 hour, you are the responsible. The server is down for 1 hour, you are the responsible. So to maintain this physical data center, lot of infrastructure, not only lot of infrastructure, lot of manpower also required. To make sure that your application always running 24/7 without any downtime. Hybrid cloud. I told you that there is no company without private and public. When you apply for the car loan or house loan, there are two types of information: public information, private information. Your Aadhaar card details or PAN card details, it won't be kept in public cloud. That information will be stored in the private. How much loan amount is granted, what is the EMI, the tenure of loan, all these are public information. Like that, for every user, there are two types of information, private and public. That's why there is no company without private and public cloud. So both combination of public and private, that is called hybrid cloud. This is the example for hybrid cloud. So in private cloud, a database is running, a setup on database in private cloud, where we are going to store use of private information. And some piece of information is called public. So there is a database on internet. All the public information will be stored here. So how you are going to access this information from the database, private or public, through app Tomcat server, application server. I can use Tomcat, JBoss, WebLogic, WebSphere, all these are application server. So where this application server is configured on internet. So where the private information in a private cloud. So if any user trying to access information, the request sent to the Tomcat server, application server. If it is private, it is going to contact this one with IP address and port number. All this stuff we discuss theoretically, practically in AWS. So this is the best example for private and public, and this is called hybrid cloud. Multi-cloud. Multi-cloud means what? Amazon, AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, all this comes under multi-cloud. Even tomorrow you joined as a cloud AWS admin, but in that organization, they are using Azure as well, GCP as well. Some applications running on Azure cloud, some are running on AWS cloud, some are running on GCP cloud. Any MNC company like IBM, Wipro, TCS, they have a requirement on Azure, they have a requirement on AWS, they have a requirement on GCP. So all the MNC companies are using multi-cloud. Cloud service models. IaaS, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. We'll continue tomorrow. What are these cloud service models? So tomorrow is the last demo. You please register yourself. I'll provide the documents, soft copies, everything to you once you register. Any questions?
Yes, sir. Whatever you have teach is for the beginner only, right?
I'm sorry?
As of now, you have teach, right? This is for only for the beginners, right? Beginners
only,
for AWS.
Yeah, only this is a demo, just a demo. What is cloud?
Yeah.
This is what beginners, start from the beginners. But whatever services we included in AWS, that is for not only for beginners, up to you can keep 0 to 4 years experience once you complete the course.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, hi sir. I need small information actually. I am a Java developer actually. So how is it helpful for me? Is as a Java developer, I need to concentrate on any few services or that one thing I wanted to know.
Frankly speaking, nowadays demand for DevOps.
Okay.
DevOps is a lot of demand nowadays. Generally,
Mm.
there are some companies that are using AWS. If you learn AWS, you are eligible for those companies where they have requirement on AWS. If you learn Azure, there are some companies that require only Azure admin. You are eligible for those companies. All this comes under technology. Linux, in place of Linux, I can use Windows. In place of Java, I can use .NET. In place of .NET, I can use Python. All these are technologies. All these are technology-based jobs. All these are technology-based jobs. The problem with the technology-based jobs are, when I started my career, at that time, no Linux. I started with SCO Unix. Later, they introduced Solaris. Updated my skills to Solaris. Later, they introduced HP Unix, IBM AX. Updated my skills to HP Unix, IBM AX. Then Linux. Later, storage. So there is a problem with the technology. What is the problem with the technology? You have to keep on updating yourself. Today, you got a job as a cloud admin with experience. You got the package of 7 to 8 lakhs. Fine. After 2 3 years, no demand for AWS. All the companies are using Azure. Again, you have to learn Azure, keep fake experience. Try for the job. After 2 3 years, no demand for Azure, demand for GCP. Again, learn GCP, keep fake experience on GCP. Try for the job. There's a problem with the technology. The technology will keep on changing. When you're in IT field, in technology-based job, as long as you're in IT, you have to keep on updating skills. Otherwise, you're no more in the market. But DevOps not a technology. DevOps is a methodology. There is no IT company without DevOps engineer. Starting from level 1 company to level 5 companies, they need DevOps engineer. Whatever technology they may using, we won't bother about that. But the methodology remains same. For example, take any product like TV, two-wheeler, four-wheeler, refrigerator, any product, mobile, any product. We need a manufacturer, we need a dealer and customer. Without manufacturer, without dealer, without customer, no product, right?
Yes.
Similarly, without DevOps engineer, there is no IT company.
Okay.
But DevOps required AWS. DevOps required Azure. DevOps required Linux administration knowledge. Because we people are going to deploy our applications on Linux platform. So I have seen so many students, my students who learn AWS or who learn only Azure, jobs are very less. But who learn this DevOps with AWS combination, DevOps with Azure combination, lot of jobs are.
Okay.
So I'll provide the training, I'll provide the placement and job support as well on Azure DevOps, AWS DevOps, job support as well.
This is whatever the demo you are, whatever the course you are providing, it is a combination of DevOps and AWS, right?
It is only AWS, no DevOps included.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Frankly speaking, for AWS, we don't require DevOps. But for DevOps, required AWS. So there is a course only designed for AWS. So you are eligible for the cloud admin. You are not the DevOps admin. You are the cloud admin.
Okay.
Okay. See you tomorrow, same time.